Hey everybody, and welcome back to the Curse of Crystal Cove, episode 7. I apologize if there's any background noise. We have some people doing some fun things in the in our workshop today, but hopefully that doesn't change anything too much. And also we have them coming in. We have Windsocks coming in for the mics, so hopefully you won't be hearing my mouth sounds as much after this episode. And also apologies for not uploading for like a month. October was literally so busy for me. I had no time to do anything. I was on like several different vacations and it was just a lot. I was really tired. And I didn't want to put out like a bad episode, and this is literally one of my favorite episodes of all time. And I didn't want to like slack. And I also think I am not gonna edit my like video versions anymore because it's easier, or audio. It's easier for me to have to not edit, and then I can actually get you guys out episodes and not have to like, I have to like block out like 2.5 hours of time to edit and then do all this stuff. And I also am not going to be doing as much like social media plugging anymore, just because like I want to enjoy it and I do that for my job. So I don't really want to like have to make a bunch of social media clips for myself because I don't really want to do that. But let's get into the episode. So I'm so sorry. So this week's episode is In Fear of the Phantom, episode 7, and this is literally one of my favorite episodes. It's so iconic. I love it so much. Anyways, it starts out, Hex Girl concert. Okay, already. The Hex Girls? Yeah. Yeah. And Daphne is like, I thought you needed to know scalpers to get these seats. And Fred goes, no, you just need to know Velma. And apparently in this universe, Velma is like a huge, crazy Hex Girls fan. And as she should be, because she's kind of gay. And like, the Hex Girls are, so, it makes sense. And we love that. Apologies for all my nose sniffles. It's very cold in here today. Usually isn't in a 100-year-old building, but it happens. So Scooby is still mad at Shaggy for going to the prom with Velma instead of watching the Vincent Van Gogh marathon with him. So there's that. And then while they're watching this awesome show, a guy with huge platforms and a shiny cape comes down with a mask on and threatens the Hex Girls. I'm like, what the heck? And I wrote, Thorn is so slay. And she's like, no one is going to tell the Hex Girls what to do, as she should. But then she just keeps going, and then and then he causes a big speaker to fall on her. Like, what the heck? That's so insane. But she's okay. She's okay. We're all good. And then it cuts to the opening credits. And there it is. The opening to one of my favorite episodes of Scooby-Doo Mystery Incorporated. Anyways. Oh, I'm so tired, guys. I'm so sorry. But it cuts to the gang backstage with the Hex Girls, and their songwriter and manager are back there with them. And the songwriter says that they should cancel the tour, and Thorn is like, nope. And then Fred is trying to come up with a plan, and he's like, they need to double for Thorn. And immediately Velma's like, yeah, I'll do it. I can do that. And then he's like, well, what about Daphne? She should do it. And then she's like, I don't know if that's like my kind of thing. And then she's like, goes on like this solo, and she's like, I'm a Hex Girl. Anyways, I'm not gonna sing. But So it's like, oh, she clearly wants to do this. So she's like, okay, slay. I wrote, she pretends to not want to and then pops off. It's correct. So then they set up some ropes to trap him, and then it goes to the concert next night, and you're like, whoa, this is so fast. Like, they're already doing a trap? Like, what the heck? Let me tell you. Not good news. I'm so sorry. I know I'm not editing this, but, like, I had to. Anyways. Everybody goes out on stage. Daphne's all dressed up as Thorn, and she starts singing, and she sounds so good. She starts singing Earth, Wind, Fire, and Air, and that song, if you know that song, literally the best song ever, and it makes me so mad that they've, like, never officially released them on any streaming platform. Oh my god, they're so loud out there. I'm so sorry. But someone sneezed. Okay. But that song is literally so good. I love it so much. Literally all the Hex Girl songs are so fire. But the Phantom comes out of nowhere. Love that. And then the cages that they set up fall down and trap, like, the other Hex Girls that were on stage that wasn't Thorn, which is Luna and Dusk. And the Phantom takes Daphne, and they're like, what the heck? So Freddy's, like, having a breakdown. He can't tell if he's more upset about losing Daphne or if his trap not working. And then it cuts to the sheriff at the concert venue being like, all right, let me get this straight. These shirts are $50. And it's like, that's so valid, though. Like, why are concert shirts so expensive? And for why? Like, maybe if they were really well designed. Okay, Hex Girls, yeah, really well designed. But, like, for other concerts that I've been to, I've seen some really, really bad merch for some of the bigger artists that I've gone to see, and they are not good. And it's like $50 for an ugly shirt. Anyways, he asks what's wrong with Fred, and then Freddy is clearly starting to realize that he has feelings for Daphne and says that why can't he just be cold and heartless like other guys and not have feelings? You know, he's so upset. And the sheriff says that he's basically going to do nothing besides call the mayor, because that's what he does, and take some Hex Girl t-shirts so he didn't waste a trip down. You know, that's a good sheriff does. And it cuts to the gang looking around for clues at the concert venue. Shag and Scoob run into each other, and Shaggy says that if they don't make up, then they're going to have to, like, find new best friends. And Scooby's like, oh yeah, you know, that's a good idea. Then he cuts to and then Shaggy's like, what does that mean? And then it cuts to Brad finding out that his ropes were sabotaged, so it wasn't his trap that went wrong. Like, he didn't do it wrong. But then he realizes he still feels bad, and he's like, Daphne, you know, like, I wish I didn't care about her. And then he walks away, and you see that Daphne is hanging from a rope from the ceiling with her mouth tied shut, and, like, her arms are, like, tied behind her back, and then she falls, but he doesn't hear her. And then he says that, you know, he's, like, had this big breakthrough, and he realizes that he cares about Daphne and traps, and then runs to go tell people. And then the mayor is there, and he says that he moved the concert. I'm sorry, I keep hearing things, and I don't want someone to walk in here and be like, are you talking to yourself? Okay, whatever, you know, like, that's fine, you know, that happens, it's okay. And he says that he moved the concert to a bigger venue, and that tomorrow is Phantom Day, you know, for, like, good business. And Daphne is upset with Freddy. So, like, obviously, you know, she came down, she landed, got out of the trap. Daphne's upset with Freddy because she heard everything. And Daphne says that she's going on tomorrow and she's gonna rock it. So, like, I don't know what that means. But Daphne leaves with the Hex Girls. And then Scooby comes into frame, and he has a puppet in his hand. Like a, is that like a marionette? No, like a Sesame Street puppet, you know? And he says his name is Harry. And he says that Harry is his new best friend. And that's that. And then it goes to Daphne with the Hex Girls, and she says to make her a rock star. She tells them to make her a rock star, and Velma's like, can I also get a makeover, And then she's like, yeah, no, I'll just make myself one. It's fine, So poor Velma. Like, Velma got very, like, left out of this episode in the way that, like, she didn't really get to, like, do anything that she wanted. She got to see her, like, awesome band and meet them and stuff, but, like, she didn't get to be one like she really wanted to. And then she also didn't, like, her and Shaggy haven't really made up, and obviously, like, her and Scooby have, like, weird tension right now. But so where is this? Oh, sorry, my notes are a little bit all over the place. So then it goes to Fred being, like, all upset and reminiscing on, like, having feelings for Daphne. And he says, I'm a guy no more. I have feelings for traps and Daphne. And Fred goes to talk to Daphne, and he says he needs to talk to her. And when he gets there, like, she's already, like, had her makeover and everything. And Daphne turns around and says, Daphne's gone. Call me Crush. And Fred's like, darn it, Ludi, where is she? And she's like, no, Freddie, it's me. And he was like, oh. Well, I have an important thing to tell you. I'm not a guy anymore. I have feelings, and I care. And he tells her that she shouldn't go on, and it's, like, too risky. But she says she's gonna go on, and that the Hex Girls, like, get him to leave the room. And then Velma's like, whoa, that's the first time you've stood up to Fred, like, about anything. And she asks if Daphne's okay. Daphne's like, no. So it changes to Scooby and Shaggy and the Hex Girls tour bus. They're watching Vince Mangool and Harry. I'm sorry, I didn't want to forget Harry. And basically Shaggy has had enough, and he says that Scooby can't replace him with a dummy, and that Shaggy and Shaggy starts fighting with Harry, like, verbally, and then literally they get into, like, a physical altercation. And then Shaggy's like, what am I doing? And then he, like, throws Harry at the Phantom because he shows up, and the Phantom is, like, rhyming. He, like, rhymes with everything that he says. It's super weird. He chases him around the bus. Harry's head is what got thrown at the Phantom, and then the Phantom, like, sets the bus on fire while Scooby and Shaggy are in it. It's like, whoa, it's a little dark, like, you're just gonna, okay, but they get out in the nick of time. Harry has a piece of the Phantom's robe in his mouth, and Shaggy's like, that looks really familiar, like, this super, like, sparkly material. And then it cuts to them, like, watching this video of this guy called Fancy Pants, who was a music artist that the Hex Girls, like, current manager, like, also managed. And they think, maybe the manager is the Phantom. So then they just, like, confront him fully. And he said that Fancy Pants got dumped off the record label to make room for the Hex Girls. So it's like, interesting. He's like, yeah, I didn't do that. Sorry. But then it cuts to Daphne practicing with the Hex Girls, and they're singing Earth, Wind, Fire, and Air. But she was like, it just, like, doesn't feel right. And then Thorn is, like, so sweet, and she comforts Daphne by saying, like, everybody has had a Fred in their life. And I think, like, she said mine was a Carney, names, oh, fuck, I cannot remember what his name is. It's something, like, Wazinski. I don't know, super. He was a Carney, so that's awesome. It was just super cute. I mean, not cute, but, like, I love it, like, so iconic of her. And she says that the best way to get over, sorry, that's our ring. She says that that's the best way to get over him. The best way to get over him is by writing a song. And literally, this is the most iconic song ever. I used to sing this all the time as a kid when this came out, and I literally wish it was on a streaming service so bad, but you're gonna have to look it up. It's called Trap of Love, Mystery Incorporated. It's so good. Ooh, your unfeeling heart imprisons me, careless eyes too blind to see, empty words, an iron cage, broken heart, bleeding rage. Can't wait for you and me, it's time I break free. Trap of love, snared by desire. Trap of love, burned by your fire. Trap of love, snared by desire. Trap of love, beware the trap of love. It's so slay. But while that is going on, Fred is listening, and he's like, I think I finally understand. And then the Phantom attacks. What the heck? And the way that he attacks is Daphne is in the chair, in like this really cool looking chair, and she has like a hood over her. And what they do is, to trap him, is they like put a dummy there who's Harry. Harry was there. And they catch him. And I think they put him in a cage or just ropes? I can't remember. But basically Fred, or they catch him. Yay, awesome, slay. Fred said that he couldn't have waited any longer since Daphne was in danger. So it's like, oh, he's like starting to be such a sweet little guy. And I mean, he's always been a sweet little guy, but like outward. And they unmask him, and it's the ex-girl songwriter who was Fancy Pants. And they knew it was somebody that had to be close to the ex-girls to access the stage. And they explained that the material they found was like part of Fancy Pants' outfit. So it's like, who else would have had that except for Fancy Pants himself? And then he's arrested. It's like, but he said the reason for that was like, oh, they ruined my career, and I tried to write bad songs for them, but they make any song so slay. And then, sorry, it looked like there's a shadow of a person over there. That happens a lot here. Anyways, so he's arrested. The gang is walking out of the stadium. Fred walks over to Daphne and explains how he's feeling. And it's like, hey, like, if you want to break free, like, I get that, but, I love traps, and he's like, I have feelings for traps and you, so like, I'm here for you, I really like you. And she was very sweet, and she was like, no, I get it, I think we can, maybe we'll be able to work something out. And then Scooby and Shaggy finally make up, and Scooby's like, you're the only dummy I need. And I was like, oh, that's so sweet. And then it pans over to Velma being like super sad, and like I said earlier, like I feel like she was very neglected this episode, which is kind of sad. But yeah, so that was pretty much the episode. Sorry guys, I got like very awkwardly cut off by some people that came in, and it's totally fine. But yeah, I just wanted to like quickly come on here and with no video because I didn't want to set my camera back up, and say like, thanks for listening, and I will be starting to post podcast episodes once a month instead of every other week. It's just a lot easier for me to do, but hey, maybe I'll get like, super motivated and start doing every other week again if I'm not editing. So yeah, let me know your guys' thoughts on everything, and I hope that everybody is doing well, and that you have a great day, night, evening, whenever you see this. And see you in the next episode. Bye.